Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 Episode 20, Tell All Part 2. And man, this was a mess. So we're just going to pick off where we left off. So, we picked off where we left off last week. We left off with the throuple with Matt, Amani, and Ani. We left off with that argument and that debate question on why Shekinah asked if Ani was trans and everything. And, Matt and Amani thought that I was rude of her and everything. And, Shekinah, they felt like it wasn't rude and stuff and everything. So, throughout the entire tell-all, though, Amani and Shekinah were just like, okay, okay, girls, just stop. But I, honestly, I was on Amani's side, and then I'll get to more of that in a minute. But anyway, so they kept on going back and forth with that. So then Aaliyah finally stepped in and said something. She's like, yo, listen, I'm a trans woman and everything, so I get to decide on this conversation, basically. So, like, Sean the host, not Sean, Aaliyah's husband, but Sean the host had asked Aaliyah, so do you think, like, that was a rude question for Shekinah? And, Aaliyah said no, but, when people, she said that basically when people look at trans women, like, look at people who are trans, they look at all the masculine features that they have and everything, basically, and everything. So she kind of cleared, like, that up when it came to that, basically. So we moved on with the conversation back to the throuple. They showed the clip at the last episode, like the big blowouts between basically Amani and Ani, basically. Remember the winery scene when Amani stormed off and said you can't turn a hoe into a housewife? They showed that scene, and then they showed the final episode scene when they were fighting on their way to the airport and stuff and everything. And, like, Amani got, like, grilled for, like, the things that she said about, Ani being an exotic dancer and everything, and, like, saying that, she didn't have to do all of that when she was poor and everything, even though that's how they met her, basically, and stuff and everything. Like Sean, Aaliyah's Sean, had said that, I was with you guys until you said that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, because, like, all of those words that you said to her, like, were really hurtful and everything. And, Amani did say, like, yeah, you was right about that, and I'm sorry. I apologize to her plenty of times and everything. And then they even asked Ani, like, are you still dancing? And Amani thought she wasn't, and Ani said, yeah, she's still dancing. So then it just leads me back to my original point. Like, everyone has their opinion about the throuple. They could be a little, it's a little weird with what's going on, but I stand corrected. Ani is playing games with them. Like, she is playing games. I like this, and this, everything confirmed it. So basically, like, that last argument that they had about the money, on her way to, Amani was trying to send her like $4,000 right then and there, but she had said even in the last episode that there was a bank issue and everything, and then that just started a fight basically and everything. But she has sent, like, they asked like how much money have they sent her total, and they said about like $20,000 from food, clothes for the kids, the travels and all that stuff. And so Sean the host had asked Amani, like, do you, like, if you said no to sending Ani money, like, do you think the relationship will end? Do you think she'll leave you? And Amani said, yeah. Now, Ani's saying she's with them for love and everything, but she did contradict herself and everything, saying that she don't really ask for money and everything. And the one time it was said no, like, they almost broke up. And then Ani and Juan started going at it and everything in Spanish and everything, talking about saying, well, Ani called out Juan for being a cheater and everything, and like Juan saying like, you just want the money, and she's like, I do know how much they pay on that cruise, basically. So like, I don't know. So like, we just didn't get like, they asked like, is Matt and Amani gonna divorce? And like, they said that they've been talking to a divorce lawyer, but at the end when they left, they said, like Matt said, that he's hesitant about that now, like, because like I said, Ani is playing games, and he said that he doesn't feel like, and he said that Ani's great, but she's not going to go to the full lengths like Amini does. So why would I want to divorce my wife at this point now, like, for all this, basically? Duh. I'm just saying, and everything. But we'll talk more about them throughout the rest of this video. So that was the throuple. So then they took a break and everything, and Matt and Amini like went up to Sarper and Shekinah just to talk to them, because like I said, Amini and Shekinah were going at it like the whole time. They just, Amini was just telling like Shekinah to stop being rude and everything and quit interrupting me, blah blah blah. So Amini goes up to Sarper and says like, Sarper, like, thank you for, you've been supportive and everything, and and I was gonna talk to Shekinah like and everything, but Shekinah's like, I don't want to hear this and everything. And then like Amini was like, can I let it speak? Yeah, let me speak and everything. And she's like, I just don't need to be here. And Matt called her, you're like the sourest person here and everything. So, and she was like sour apple. He was just like sour apple candy. So she goes into the dressing room and everything, and just starts like throwing a little acting childish and everything. And Amini's like, I'm just trying. I don't want to leave here with animosity. Like, I'm just don't want her to keep being rude. Shekinah is rude and everything, but Amini like spoke up way too. Both of them, it was equal in my opinion. Like they really acted like high school kids. There was at one point where they were going back and forth, and Stevie was just covering her ears and stuff and everything. And I'll get to Stevie in a minute as well too. So Shekinah, Shekinah's in the dressing room crying and everything, and Sarper comes in and says, you need to stick up for me more and everything. And he's like, it's not my place, and if I get into it, it could be physical, and I don't want it to be like that, basically. So like Matt and Amini is just like, just screw it or whatever. So then we go back to set, and Sean asks about what happened in the back and everything, and then they tried to explain their piece and just didn't get nothing. So anyway, so we just like, okay, let's just move on. So next they talked to Jessica and Juan. So they talked to Jessica and Juan, and they brought out a former 90 Day. They brought out Danielle, that was with Johan, and they also brought out Jessica's best friend Megan, who'd be crying over Juan all the time, basically. So throughout their conversation, it was just, they talked about, Juan cheating in the beginning and everything, and how like Megan is so way too invested. That friend is just like so invested in everything, and like it was just a lot of back and forth with that. I don't need to go too deep in that. Everybody was just telling Megan like, this is their life. You have to stay. Yes, Jessica's your best friend, but she has a husband and a kid now, so like the focus is more on them than you and everything. And why are you crying so much like over him? It's like you're dating them both. Well, Megan had said that when Jessica's baby boy David was born, she was holding the camera for one to see the family and all that. She was that friend. Okay, fair enough, but crying because he lied to you about the cheating thing, it's just like, why and everything. So they talked about that, and then I guess Juan has actually like almost all of the foreigners that were in the season this year got the green card. I don't know about Sarper, but yeah, I remember Joan. I think Joan got her green card. When we get to Mark and Mina got her green card. I think Aaliyah does too, and Maddie does. So Yeah, I think like yeah, majority of the foreigners already got their green card, so that's good. So, but Juan, as we all know, it wants to go on a cruise. Like used to be like work on a cruise, and he misses that lifestyle and everything. But now that he has a wife and kid, he's staying. He's not doing the cruise. If he was to take another contract on the cruise, he would be gone for 8 months, and that's just not fair, basically. Now, he said that that's the only reason, like, I'm not doing the cruise right now. It's the last resort. It's just for my son. But but Megan was like, well, okay, he's supposed to say that's for the son and Jessica, which I do agree with that. He's supposed to say that, but he didn't. But my thing is like Jessica don't say nothing. Like when he, like but she's saying that she don't need to, that she's not gonna agree with it or whatever. But I do think she needs to like say a little bit more of it, because Juan told Megan like stay out of it, stay out of a relationship, because like remember when Megan also said that she will ruin Juan's life and everything, and he was just like you ain't gonna ruin nothing, and she was just like the B word and bye. I'm like, yeah, like, girl, shut up. You got a husband yourself and everything. Like, stop worrying about your best friend and their life. Like, I got plenty of friends, and I ain't too worried about their relationship, whether if it's good or bad. Like, I'm on my own. I got my own relationship to worry about. I don't need to be worrying about somebody else's relationship. So apparently, like, one, like I said, was applying for jobs and everything. I guess he was just doing like little like delivery type jobs, and I guess like Megan's husband and them put him down for references for multiple jobs, and he turned them down because they live in Wyoming, and I guess they said Nebraska is like 35 minutes away, and he was supposed to work at a car dealer shop and everything, but he turned it down and stuff and everything. So like they asked like how many jobs does Juan turn down, and they said like no exaggeration like 50. So yeah, that is a little suspicious and everything, but if they're making it work, they're making it work. But I do think turning down 50 jobs because you're just like you really just want to be on the cruise and stuff and everything, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. So yeah, they said goodbye to Megan, and we finished up with Jessica and Juan. So, like I said, they also had Danielle out there to help with Jessica and Juan because, like Sean had asked Danielle, like, are you still with Johan? And because the last time we saw you, like, y'all were like done. And she said, yeah, I'm still with Johan. Danielle and Johan are still together. She said that she just wanted Johan to take accountability for what he did, and he did, and she was able to move forward with that and everything. And so that was that. So after they said goodbye to Megan, before they said goodbye to Danielle, they wanted to stir up the pot and talk about a beef with Danielle and Shekinah. And remember, like I said, on season 5 of The Other Way, The Other Way tell-all, season 5, Danielle and Shekinah did not get along. And so I guess there was like an online exchange between like Danielle and Shekinah. Like it started on their season when I guess like Danielle reached out to Sarper saying that like, like kind of like what he did to Shekinah, saying like apologize in advance or what's gonna happen at the teller, so something like that, some BS like that and everything. And Danielle claims that Shekinah took it as like she was hitting on Sarper and everything, and it wasn't like that and everything, and they were calling each other, liars and stuff and everything, and Danielle said that Shekinah like pays for certain interviews and stuff to talk junk on her and everything and all that. So like they just said Danielle and Shekinah just go back and forth, and once again a mini steps in. It's just steps in and like says like then another one, like just like I don't know. It was, I feel like it was just all childish behavior from them girls, basically, in my opinion, just childish behavior. But like I said, I do see a mini side, like, and Danielle's side with it, because like like I said, when we first met Shekinah, that's what she came off as. She came off as that person who does attack the girls, and probably I never seen her really attack like any of the guys, and which is fair enough. But because she don't do nothing to Dan. Last week at the tell she was like all on Dan's side and everything, but she attacks all the other women basically. So I I don't know, and Danielle says she's not a girl's girl. So they're screaming, they're going back and forth arguing, and now we get backstage into the part where I've been dying to see. So now all of a sudden Maddie wants to step in now. He's been quiet the whole time. Now he wants to step in, and he's telling Stevie I don't like the lies. Danielle is saying that she kind of paid for those interviews and stuff. So they go backstage and they're eating, and so Maddie Danielle's talking to Greg and Joan and Matt and the Minnie, and then Maddie comes in and asks Danielle about you said that Shekinah pays for those interviews, and you're making assumptions and stuff. She said and Matt even jumped in and said she said that she might and everything, and Maddie was just I wasn't talking to you and everything, and Matt was well, you're coming after a woman, so if you're going to come after a woman, I want to defend a woman, basically. So after that, Danielle tried to explain herself by saying how Shekinah's not a girl's girl and everything, and just something with the interview process and everything. And Sarper overhears the conversation and says Danielle, you're totally wrong and everything. And Maddie's just trying to say well, you're attacking her with you're lying, and you're attacking her and everything. And Shekinah comes in and says I'm really shaking right now and everything, and this is too much for me. And Danielle called Shekinah you're crying right now. How are you crying right now? I never seen you shed a tear. How are you the victim, basically, and everything? You come after all these people and everything. And then Maddie starts saying you keep attacking her with all your lies and everything. Then Amini was just Amini joins in the conversation to Maddie, and it's just why are you getting even involved in this? This doesn't involve you. And then Stevie, now it just became a whole cluster. Stevie says why are you commenting? And then Amini was just girl, get your husband. And he was no, I'm not. She was no, I'm not. And you've been speaking all over everybody through this entire tell. I'm sick of it and everything. I've had no problem with you until you started speaking over everybody. Shut the F up and everything. So it just became a big cluster and everything. And then Maddie's still yelling at Danielle. And then Danielle gets in Maddie's face saying, you need to put your hand down. Put your hand down. Put your hand down. Blah, blah, blah. Put your hand down and everything. She gets up in his face, and everybody had to separate her and everything. Stevie had to hold back Maddie, and security had to come in, and Danielle was man, y'all really make me bring New York out, y'all, and everything. Shekinah's yelling, I'm leaving if you don't get that B out and everything. It was just a big cluster. It just it went from Amini and Shekinah to Shekinah and Danielle to Maddie and Danielle to Maddie and Matt to Amini and Stevie. It was just a whole big cluster. It was just a mess. So after that, we just screw this. Danielle left and everything, and we went back on set and everything, and now we could talk about Mark and Mina. So we go to Mark and Mina now. Mark and Mina, they're doing fine. They're doing fine. Clayton's still not here. They asked if Clayton, when's the last time Mina seen Clayton? She said 11 months. But they're planning on, they've been spending a lot of time in Boston, apparently. They still live in New Hampshire and stuff, but they're thinking about even possibly going back to France. And they're planning a trip to France, whatever that time the tell-all was filmed. And then they're going to go to France, spend time with Clayton, and hopefully not come back unless Clayton's coming back with them. So I thought that was nice to hear. And then they finally brought out, before they brought out Jordan, they talked about Mina's past. apparently Mina also used to be an exotic dancer. And like she did it a long time ago. Like Mark knew about it, but he didn't meet her there. And Mark used to bartend at one of those clubs. So they started laughing and joking about that. And then Sean the host had asked, like, well, what was your stage name? And Mina's stage name was Divine, and she said that she got that name from her cousin because her cousin's name is Divine. I'm like, if that ain't weird, I don't know what is. That your exotic dancer name is the same name as your cousin. And then they asked other castmates, like they asked Ani what was her stage name, and I think she said I forget what was her name. It's Side or something like that. Sarper, when he used to do that, his name was Alex. And then Matt used to be a dancer as well, and he went by the stage name Hudson, basically. So like, and I thought Sean the host was funny when she said Sarper's stage name was not sexy. She said, ain't stage names supposed to be sexy? Alex ain't sexy. And Sarper was just like, oh, it is in Turkey. So that was pretty funny. So then, they talked about that, and then the moment of truth, we finally bring out Jordan. Jordan comes out in this beautiful dress. She actually looked really beautiful. She revealed that she recently got engaged to that dude and everything. Mark and Mina were at her engagement party. They brought up the scenes about, the kid thing, like how Jordan was like, didn't really want them to have another kid and stuff and everything. And, it was a tough situation, like, Jordan feels like it was, like, since she's about to get married and possibly have kids of her own, and with her stepmom being close to the same age, like, what if they get pregnant at the same time and everything? That's just going to be weird. And they know that and everything. But, at the same time, it's also their happiness and their life and everything. And you do you. So, it took some time, but Mina and Jordan are getting along now, so I'm glad to see that and everything. And yeah, like, and then Mark gonna make a joke and say that Mina's pregnant, just like what happened on the wedding day when Mina said I'm pregnant. I'm like, yeah, no, you ain't. And then Mark was like, oh, by the way, guys, thank you because she is pregnant. And we're like, what? And like I knew he was lying. He lying because we would have seen that she really was. So we would have known by now she was really pregnant. So yeah, so that was basically it with Mark and Mina's scene. Like, her and Jordan are cool. Mark and Jordan are cool, and it's a big happy family. So I'm happy to see that. So then, before they went to the last couple, they had Sarper do like a little stand-up comedy routine. Oh, I forgot to say this too. Sarper and Shekinah, like after like when Matt and the Minnie came up to him to try to reconcile, Sarper and Shekinah was complaining to Sarper that she ain't defending him. They go back on stage, and Sarper actually goes out and brings out an actual wedding ring for Shekinah and everything, because in the beginning of the tell-all last week, it was revealed that she was still only wearing an engagement ring and not a wedding band. And so he brought that out, and, they had a little lovey-dovey moment and everything and so forth. So then after Mark and Mina's scene, they had Sarper do a little stand-up comedy thing, and he targeted the throuple and everything, saying that, Matt is at not really at an advantage, he's at a disadvantage, which is true, he is, and everything. So it was whatever. They think that he can have a career in comedy. I've heard better. So anyway, after that, we finally get to the last couple, and it's Sean and Aaliyah. Sean is still pissed off about that wedding. That wedding really, really pissed him off. It was revealed that Sean actually went on a honeymoon without his wife. He went on a vacation. He went to Florida to visit a longtime friend, and they even traveled over to the DR, and it was all without Aaliyah. And they said that he was gone for a month. That's a little messed up. That's extreme. But he was still pissed off about that wedding. And like, they really need a redo. They are still together, but Sean and Aaliyah, like, and it hasn't been talked about much, they are in an open marriage. Sean admitted that he's been intimate with somebody else too. Aaliyah hasn't, because she's still in her transition. So they brought out Kenny and Armando to talk to them, and they also brought out Jackie, Sean's friend, the one that was helping Aaliyah during the wedding and got her there late. And Sean had like I said, he was still really pissed off about that what happened at the wedding. He was yelling at Jackie like, it was your responsibility to get her there on time and everything. I had everything all set in stone and ready and everything, but you guys were making toast and everything, chilling in that air condition. I got ready in a public bathroom with no air condition and everything. And then, of course, the situation with his mom, when his mom took that fall and everything. And like, I feel like Jackie and Aaliyah are still not being like remorseful for that. Like, they may say it online, but they didn't say sorry about that. Like, maybe they said it in private, but like it was really valid. Like, his mom really could have died. Like, and nobody called. Like, nobody really called and say, where you at? Aaliyah didn't claim that her phone wasn't nearby, so she couldn't call. And she was saying, Sean didn't call either and everything. Like, they're just trying to make the day as traditional as possible. That's probably why. But if y'all gonna be late, y'all should have said something. And he said y'all were 2 hours late, basically. It wasn't 5 minutes, it wasn't 30 minutes or whatever. Like, 2 hours and everything. So, like, the questions have been asked about Sean's attraction to Aaliyah. And he said that, first, like, she's not the person sitting next to me is not who I fell in love with and everything. But, like, like, if she wanted to get surgery, that's up to her and everything. But, like, would that save your marriage and everything? And so, like, Sean, he said that him and Aaliyah had been intimate only, like, 2 times after they got married. But, is still trying to like accept the fact that she's a trans woman now and just not just a man now. So then Aaliyah decides to pull out a text message, and she read this like really sweet message that had everybody in tears basically and everything. And both of them said they love each other and they're gonna like work it out, and we're gonna try to have a redo of the wedding, because they really need to redeem themselves from that wedding. So they're still together, but like I said, I wasn't really a fan of them throughout the season and stuff and everything, but whatever floats their boat. So we've reached the end of the tell-all. So now, everybody's like saying their goodbyes and everything. Matt and Minnie are still trying to like be peacemaker, trying to like, they're yelling at everybody, but then like trying to be cordial with everybody. So they asked Sarper, do you want to join us for this final dinner before we leave? And he's like, no, I gotta wait for Shekinah. It's okay. So like Greg and Joan and Mark and Mina and Matt and Minnie, they eat dinner before they leave, and Jessica and Juan come in and they say their goodbyes and everything. And then after Jessica and Juan leave, Sarper and Shekinah come into the room and say their goodbyes and stuff. They're hugging everybody. Minnie tried to hug them and they just walked by and did not hug them, and I'm like, okay, that's how it's gonna be. And they were like, well, they deserve that. Shekinah said that, like, I would never talk to Minnie again after this. Like, she's irrelevant, blah, 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 and all that. So then, after they left, then Stevie and Maddie came in and said their goodbyes and everything. And same thing, like they say goodbye to everybody. Matt and Minnie try to give him a hug, and Minnie chased after Stevie, said, I don't know when I'm going to see you guys again. And Stevie didn't even want to give her a hug. She's like, I don't like the way you talk to Maddie, so I don't want to hug you and everything. And everything like, oh, okay. It's like that, huh? Okay. So then Stevie and Maddie leave, and they're leaving saying that, oh, well, I hope that if Maddie wants to ask me questions about my sexuality, he could do that in private. Because she just still won't answer it, and she's not going to answer it. So, well, at least if she has answered it, she's not going to answer it publicly. So then after that, then Greg and Joan leave. They actually give Matt and Minnie a hug. Same with Mark and Mina. Like Greg and Joan talking about they need to like expedite their moving out plans and everything. Mark and Mina talking about, they just trying to get Clayton over here as soon as possible and everything. And then, Sean and Aaliyah leave. Sean did say that he wants to take Aaliyah on the actual honeymoon. This time he owes that to her, which he does. I do agree with that. And then the throuple leaves. And like I said, they left because, like, Minnie said that, like, man, Ani really is kind of playing me. Like, like I'm starting to like see it. And Matt's even said, like, after all of this, I don't even know if I want to divorce my wife now. So we will be talking. Like I said, the interview with them is coming up. It'll be in a couple weeks now. Since the season's over, I can finally like get it all set up and stuff. Give me a couple weeks, everybody, with that, because they are on vacation. Matt and Minnie are on vacation, and the tell-all just wrapped up. So give them a couple weeks to get back, get situated. Since they ain't gonna be on the TV screens anymore, let it die down for a little bit, and then I'll schedule the interview. So it's done. 90 Day Fiancé season 11. It's done. It's done. We sing this at church all the time. It's done. What I shall be, I've already am. It's done. God has worked it out on my behalf. My eyes may not see it. By faith I receive it. It will manifest. It's already done. It's done. Season 11's done. But you know what that means. When 90 Day Fiancé ends, 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After begins. So next week we get ready, we set the tone and get ready for Happily Ever After. Oh yeah, I'm looking so forward to that. Not. But we still got Hunt for Love. I do like Hunt for Love, so. But anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. Thank you guys so much for watching this season. We completed another season of 90 Day Fiancé. Like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow to recap 90 Day Hunt for Love. And then we kick off Happily Ever After Season 9 next week. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. We're growing, we're growing, we're growing. I love you guys so much. Thank you to all my new subscribers, to all the viewers I've been watching. I really appreciate you guys so much. I really do. And I'll see y'all again tomorrow. Bye, y'all.